here live on location. You got Peter Groverman and Jaime Zawmon, right? Zawmon?
Yes, you got it.
And your spelling of the name Jaime is very unique. I think you might even be the first. I mean, like, you know, my family lives part of the year in Costa Rica. My friends are Jaime. But are you named after someone or?
Yes. So my parents named me after the Bionic Woman. That is how she spelled Jamie.
No, I didn't see. New news. That's great.
Right.
Jaime is the founder of the Titan Awards. You mind giving a little background and a 30-second overview of yourself and your history and why I think you're the coolest person ever? I'm really excited to talk to you.
You're very sweet, Peter. I appreciate that. Well, I guess I've always been drawn to entrepreneurs. I grew up in a small family-owned business, and in 2003, I was recruited to a magazine publishing company, which specifically published content for CEOs and entrepreneurs. And that's kind of where I spent 15 plus years in my career, is telling the stories of entrepreneurs, building communities of CEOs and C-level executives. And so I don't know anything else other than working with entrepreneurs and CEOs and C-level executives. It's a community that I love. They make things happen. It's a powerful community at that. And I just love the way that they think, move, and operate. So.
And it's just completely fortuitous that you now are a CEO in yourself, right?
True. Although I don't like to really think about that. I started and founded Titan CEO several years ago here in Colorado to work with CEOs specifically in the Colorado market to grow, to build business valuation, to learn from other CEOs, to have that tribe, that community, to connect with each other. And it's been a journey that has expanded from just CEO groups and working with CEOs to and their executive leadership teams through retreats that we do, executive retreats, to the need for community. And I wasn't finding it in Colorado, so I said, I'm going to build it. And that's where the Titan 100 program was founded 3 years ago. And the premise behind the Titan 100 program was to essentially build a community of individuals that are titans of industry. And they do what they do better than anyone else in their industry. That's how we define a titan. Titan, by definition, comes from the word Greek mythology in which the Titans were a race of God. And today, a modern day Titan is someone who really is preeminent, distinguished, a leader in their industry. If you think back to some of the Titans of our country, of our generation, of our time, you think of Albert Einstein as a Titan in the world of science, or Wayne Gretzky as a Titan of hockey. These individuals are the best at what they do. And that's where Titan's definition has emulated from.
It's a great name. I love it.
Thank you.
All right. Well, and it was founded in 2019, right?
Yes.
And you now have spent, 3 years building up the brand. You're in 4 cities.
5.
Denver? 5 cities. Which
5
cities are you in?
Yep. So we started in Colorado 3 years ago, and then we just this past year embarked on a journey to expand the program to 4 additional cities in 2022. So we launched in St. Louis, and then shortly thereafter, Georgia, and then Philly and Phoenix came thereafter. So we will be in 5.
Why those cities? Just start.
Yeah.
Curiosity.
So our number one supporter in this platform, the Titan 100 platform, is Wipfli. They're a top 20 national accounting firm, and they have offices across the country. These markets that we are in are aligned with Wipfli offices and are aligned with Wipfli communities. And so we worked together with them to plot out a roadmap based off of several factors. But it's nice that we're sort of balancing the United States map with East Coast, Midwest, and Central. We have also expanded into Wisconsin, so Milwaukee, and that's our sixth city that is underway, but it will not come to recognition of the Titans until 2023. It takes about 8 months to ramp up a market till we get to the big awards program.
And what are the next 5 that you said you're expanding into?
So beyond Wisconsin, I can't disclose where we're going to be going because it could change. But we are obviously looking at maps of areas or cities, if you will, that we think this platform could certainly really grow, could also shine a spotlight on a market that is doing incredible things, because this program is not just a local recognition opportunity, but it's becoming more of a national one. And so as we think about the map, individuals that are in Phoenix or Philly will be spotlighted to those individuals in the other cities, and it will continue to roll up into this, national recognition, but very deep roots locally.
All right, that's incredible. And it's actually kind of counterintuitive if you think about it, because any layman or like entrepreneur is like, okay, we're going to launch this big award thing. We're going to go into New York, LA, Chicago, Miami. Like, that's like, I'm just thinking off the cuff. But it's kind of like counterintuitive in that actually those markets, there's probably a lot of competition, a lot of noise. And if you can just like capture, be a big fish in a smaller pond and then get a whole bunch of smaller ponds, eventually you turn into a big pond, right? And then, so I think like it's just incredibly strategic and smart. And was that coincidental or was that deliberate?
No, I think, sometimes different communities, and every city has a different sort of structure of community. Philadelphia, as an example, is very parochial, right? So whereas Colorado is very transient. Nobody honestly has grown up here in Colorado. You've got people from all walks of life. It's very much a melting pot. We're finding that different cities, have uniqueness about just the diversity that they bring, and also the structure of how that community integrates and connects with each other. I can tell you one of the biggest surprises for us has been the Phoenix market. It is a market that I think people have not been paying attention to. There are incredible entrepreneurs and companies, and the business community there is booming, and no one is giving them any kind of recognition or spotlighting them for the incredible work that they're doing, because it's a newer up and coming, city developing. And so we've been blown away by the Phoenix market, the revenue numbers, the employee numbers that are coming out of Phoenix, and then how much that community is embracing this platform, which will shine the spotlight on them from across the country. And so those are the fun ones, when you can find, markets that don't really have a lot of that right now.
Well, I think that makes perfect sense. I was going to say, do you have a favorite city, or what city is like looking most promising? And it sounds like obviously Phoenix is there. I mean, it kind of makes sense. You got people leaving California, and I think Phoenix is like a relatively close complement. Is it pretty parochial there as well, or are people in Arizona more transient?
I would say it's definitely more transient, which is interesting. I would say, Philadelphia and St. Louis are definitely going to be your two most parochial cities. I love Philly. I lived in Philly for a short period of time. I ran a magazine publishing company in Philly. I love the diversity that Philly brings. I mean, the multi-generational family-run businesses, just the diversity of businesses. If you go to DC as an example, you're looking at government contractor, another government contractor, from a person who's engaging to write about unique organizations and unique companies. Philly has it, right? So it's one of the reasons why I love Philly so much, just because it's like this old school, but it covers everything. You know, you've got really great, incredible education and technology and healthcare and manufacturing that, you know, is the heart of small business, and what keeps our country growing and going. And so if I had to pick a market that has the most diversity in that regard, it's Philly.
It's awesome. All right, well, let's take a step back, and I want to talk about this Weefly, your head
Whiffly.
sponsor. How do you pronounce it?
Whiffly.
I'll get it right.
Yes.
Okay, so where do they come from? How'd that happen? Because I feel like they're they're blasted all over your marketing and your campaigns. I mean, I, as an entrepreneur, I can assume you come up with the title word idea, and you're like, "Hey, we need a sponsor." And then, but how do you narrow it down to them? How do you go get them? How do you sign them up? And then how do you keep them engaged and happy?
I know that to do anything new, you need to have someone who's going to back you, right? Someone who's going to support your initiative or your idea. And to launch an awards program, you can make big things happen if you have an underwriting sponsor, right? Someone's going to help pick up the check on it. It just makes the pressure on you as an entrepreneur much easier. So I went out and talked to 2 accounting firms at the time. And I said, it's going to be between the 2 of you. This is an opportunity that if you miss, I promise you will probably regret later. And
wow,
they understood the vision, the mission, the goals. And so they came on board. They loved the program so much that they were the ones that said, we think this program should be in more cities because we don't see it in the other cities that we are in, Whiffly, that is. And so we sat down and talked about what a roadmap could look like and making an investment to grow the platform to 10 cities across the country in the next 2 to 3 years. And so we rolled it out, and we've gone to these 5 or 4 additional cities. We're in a total of 5 before we went to their headquarters, which is where they're based in Wisconsin. Like anything, if you can create that powerful vision that helps people see what it is that you're trying to accomplish, there are people that will believe in it and they will come along for the ride. The community speaks for itself, and it's only continued to grow year after year. And we have so much momentum going into the 2023 program year for all of our markets. And we're just really excited about, again, continuing to tap into what this platform can look like on a national level and connecting titans of industry with each other.
I just got invited to the Titan Philadelphia group on LinkedIn, which I'm like super pumped about because it's like, I mean, I know a bunch of these people already, but at the same time, it's like everyone wants to be part of a tribe. Everyone wants to be part of a group or a club, you know, something exclusive, unique. And this is a great one, you know, and it's kind of interesting because there is competition out there. You know, you got the Forbes list, you've got the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year. You've got like the Bloomberg does some type of award to celebrate an entrepreneur. And then you got like, you know, I know the cream of the crop being like, you know, Times Person of the Year, right? I think that's like kind of not in the same league, but it's the closest thing I can think to like these exclusive groups. It's definitely, I get the vision. I love that you approach them with a roadmap because from my experience, you can get, as long as you can show people where you're going, you pull out the scary and the unknown, and you can have like deliverables that people can subscribe to, which makes breaking into an industry a lot easier, or winning over those underwriters, as you put it. So real strong kudos to you. That's awesome. I really think it's really incredible what you're putting together here, and the whole thing is great. I love the idea also of how the Titans themselves are the marketing play in many regard, because like, how do you get your name out there? Well, the people who win propagate you and to their networks, and then you're talking about, like, you came out of nowhere in Philadelphia, and now I can't go a day without someone congratulating me, recognizing me, or asking me a question about being a Titan. We have one investor who sent out a like, he was a Titan, and he sent out an email to the network just being, here's my quarterly update. The very first sentence he said was, "I'm a Titan." And that to me is like, you want to talk about making someone feel like a priority. You did it. So it's definitely really neat. I love it. It's so fun. Just another cool feather for the cap, so to speak. But at the same time, it really does distinguish and put me and others into a category of real bona fide, awesome people, which is a really awesome honor. How many people? Like, let's use the Philadelphia market as an example.
Okay.
You have 100 that you narrowed it down to.
Yep.
How many submissions did you receive?
So on average for a market, we generally get up to 200 applications for a first year market. It definitely grows year after year for a particular market. And I laugh, Peter, because when you said, that you don't go a day without somebody reaching out to you or inquiring or congratulating you, that makes me smile and laugh, because that is so Philadelphia right there. When I was launching the magazine in Philadelphia, we hadn't even published the first issue, and I already had people saying to me, "Oh, I know about you." I'm like, "How do you know about me? I've not talked to you. We haven't even published because Philadelphia talks," right? So the same kind of thing happens when we start a market. We work with a nomination committee made up of our sponsors and individuals and organizations that are very deeply connected into the communities. We work with the chambers. We worked with many of the local Philadelphia sponsors that know Titans of industry. They are their clients, they're their prospects, there are these individuals that they just love because they are leaders in the Philadelphia community. And so that community or that committee, along with us, work together to drive nominations. So we generally get about 200 applications for a first year, and then it goes before an independent judging committee made up of a different set of industry experts, which we won't reveal until the night of the awards program. And those individuals go through score, rank, and review, and ultimately decide the 100. I will tell you, it comes down to a very competitive, individuals making it on the list versus off the list in the last 10 to 20 that fall kind of in that cusp. And we have folks that don't make it first year, but they come back next year and apply. The beautiful thing about this program too is that it's not a 1-year program. We allow Titans to apply to make the program up to 3 years, in which they'll be inducted into our Titan Hall of Fame. We just honored 12 Titans as part of that inaugural collective this year in Colorado. It's one of the
So you're saying I could be a Titan next year?
Yes.
Again?
Yes.
Wow. And then
Yeah.
So 3 years in a row, then you're in the Hall of Fame, and you got like you're like Titan jacket, so to speak, right?
Well, we don't give jackets, Peter. We give helmets. So you get a helmet that looks like
what was I thinking?
better than jackets, right? So But
Yeah.
yes,
Do you have a helmet?
the thing.
Is there a helmet around you right now? Do you have any of the helmets there?
Okay, I'll grab one. Hold on.
Yes. This is why we do this. Oh my God.
And you can wear it.
Oh boy. Oh,
How many of your
this
podcasts have this?
Well, you gave me something new to aspire to.
Right? So we gave 12 of
Okay,
these
so
that were engraved for our Hall of Famers in Colorado this past year.
all right, well, we'll pause for a second here.
Okay.
Who makes these? Where do you get a Titan helmet from?
I can't give away all my trade secrets, Peter.
I'm captivated. It's awesome. You gotta get like some metal worker to put together like a old Roman or that's awesome. That's really cool.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. That's awesome. So you got 12 this year, 12 helmets.
12 of them. Yeah. So I want to talk about a little bit more. There are two things here. One, I want to talk about something that you brought up, which has to do with what are the different award programs that are out there, right? Like Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year, you had mentioned a couple of them. I want to talk a little bit about how this is different from all of those platforms. So the Titan 100 program is not a one-night, one-off event. That's one of the biggest things that I think award programs miss the ball on, right? There's this big hype up to the event, and then you go to the event, and then you don't get a chance to connect with everybody that you want to connect with. There's so much, going on the night of, and it kind of lives and dies with that event. This program is unique that it is an annual program. So it runs for essentially an entire year. It starts with the open call for nominations, of course. Once individuals are selected, we then do on-camera interviews, which will capture content and inspiration that will be played the night of the awards program. At the awards program, we're going to bring together 100 Titans of industry for an event that I don't believe exists in Philadelphia. And I'd be willing to stake a claim to that because I used to run a magazine publishing company in Philadelphia, and our events never had that many entrepreneurs in the room one night. But that's just the start of the program. After that awards program takes place, we will host a series of subsequent events that will connect the Titans multiple times with each other over the course of the year. And so we've got these really unique, fun, and atmospheric events that we're going to be doing that are only for the Titans. So they get to show up and run into a Titan to their right and a Titan to their left. And the relationships that are built, the information and contacts that are shared, it's not captured anywhere else. We know that as entrepreneurs, it's hard to go into a room where you've got tons of salespeople trying to sell you things. It almost makes entrepreneurs and CEOs and C-levels not want to go to events because they're afraid they're going to be bombarded. They are the minority in the room. We want them to be the majority. And so these events are safe spaces for them to meet their other fellow Titans. We've got events that we're planning to do at Philadelphia Distillery and at Eagles Stadium. We're going to create opportunities for the Titans to participate in grouped roundtable discussions. This is the reason why Titans who have been in this program will tell you they may have come for the recognition initially, the panache of being called a Titan, but what they didn't realize is that they would build a tremendous community of other Titans alongside of them. The beautiful thing about this program, as I had mentioned, Peter, is that next year, as applications will open in 2023, the Titans are eligible to reapply as long as they remain a a CEO or a C-suite in their organization. They can change organizations, sell their companies, start new ones, whatever, but they have to remain that C title. They can reapply. And if they make the program, then they're recognized a second year. If they don't make the program, they get tracked into our alumni platform, which basically gives them continuous connection to the Titan community as it grows and expands year over year. So the program and the community will only get bigger and better and stronger in Philadelphia. And the Titans in Philadelphia will have the opportunity to go to any Titan event across the country and meet other Titans in Colorado, St. Louis, Georgia, Philly, Phoenix. And that's the community that we are trying to connect.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, you're right. It's a total cluster F when you're in like one of these ceremonies or these pitch competitions. There's 2,000 people out there tops, and you're on stage. You get off the stage, and then there's the accounting guy comes up, goes, "Here's my card," and then you got the attorneys coming over to you, and all the professional service providers who are out there maybe sponsor the event and have carte blanche come out and approach you. There really is no moment or event like that you just outlined. I love the idea. It's attractive to me to be able to be in a room with like-minded, complementary, parallel entrepreneurs, right? Especially in my home base, in my home city. I bump into these people. I saw the 100 list, and I know a significant majority, if not personally, then at least by name, right? And what a good excuse or reason to come together. I think the foreseen, but for me, unforeseen attribute of being a Titan is this fraternal type of community that has created a force multiplier effect for entrepreneurship. I have an idea. Well, now I'm in a room with other people who like ideas or good ideas and good people. And now I can communicate. And who knows what good is going to come out of the connections that you're fostering with the Titan Awards. And I think it's just incredibly commendable what you're doing. I think on one end, it's very ambitious. You come up with the idea, I'm going to build a new award ceremony that's going to find the top entrepreneurs in the entire country. I mean, who says that? Clearly someone with your path and your recognition, and it definitely is. It's exciting. And was this like, so when you were a kid, you're growing up, young Jamie, right? You didn't. This was not the plan. I mean, obviously you had ideas on being what?
At a very young age, I originally wanted to be a veterinarian, as I have a tremendous love for animals. I love all animals. But I realized very early on that I couldn't see animals in pain. So I said, that's not going to be a good, I only want to help them, but I don't want to help them when they're in pain. So then I wanted to be an architect because I love to build things. But I realized very early on that you had to be really good at math, and that was not a strong suit for me. So I said, okay, I'm going to run my own business. And that was sort of the vision I had for myself. I knew I was going to be an entrepreneur or run a business. I thought I would take over my father's business. He still asks me to on a consistent basis.
What does he do?
Thermal wire stripping. So,
okay.
Yeah. So all the wires that exist in the world need to be stripped to be put together. And so Patco is the name of the company, and it manufactures here in the United States thermal wire strippers. My father is an immigrant from the Czech Republic, and he was an electrical engineer by trade. So he's a brilliant man, brilliant mind, and used to strip wires for the work that he did in repairing machines and engineering. So he developed this product, patented it, and it's been in business for 40 years at this point.
And how was growing up in an entrepreneurial home? Like, would you go out into the field with your dad? Would you come home and have questions, and you guys would problem solve? I'm assuming, or what was that like?
I think what it comes down to is you see the hard work that goes into building a product or a service, but then you see the hard work that goes into selling that product or service. And you can have the best product in the world, but if you can't sell it or get it in front of the right people, market it, it doesn't go anywhere. I remember going to many trade shows as a young teenager and standing in front of crowds of people and demonstrating how the products worked, how to use the specific products. And that built so much confidence in my ability to command presence and attention in front of an audience. And I think that was ultimately the training ground for what gave me the confidence to say, I can sell anything. And I used to do things back at home like sell tomatoes and, any of the school competitions where they would sell candy bars and things like that. I was always the first to do it because it didn't scare me to talk to people, to communicate to people, to present myself and my whatever I was selling. I think that's one of the most important life skills. I hate people that say, oh, I don't like sales, I can't sell. Well, guess what? You are selling every day, whether you believe it or not. You are selling yourself. You are selling who you are and who you represent, the company that you work for. You're always sales. Life is a bunch of sales. So the sooner you embrace that and learn how to sell yourself and present what your passions and beliefs are in a way that resonates with people, the better off you'll be.
I think that's really good advice. And I love that your dad had you up there. You built that confidence, that understanding, and that emotional intelligence, which you really can't learn in a classroom. It's something you really have to be out in the field and get that hands-on or physical experience. Makes it more visceral and part of your DNA, so to speak. Let me ask you this. And you just touched on a little bit of it, but what from you've interviewed thousands of CEOs. Mm-hmm. I don't know many people who have that type of experience. What makes a good CEO? Is there a formula?
I wish that there was, I wish that there was an exact science to it. I think everyone would apply it. There's definitely a lot of gray area with it. The most successful leaders that I see today, CEOs and C-levels, are those that are servant leaders first. I would say interviewing thousands of CEOs, the ability to lead people towards your vision and to be that servant leader is what transcends good companies to great companies. CEOs and C-levels will tell you that they are lifelong learners. They never stop learning. They invest in growing themselves because you cannot give what you do not have. Investing in yourself as an individual to be the best version of yourself, to unlock your fullest potential, to then be able to unlock the potential of others. Listening is one of the most important traits that an individual can possess. The ability to listen so that you can connect the dots and move the individual or the conversation forward. So those would just be a few high level, but the resounding theme that I've seen from the strongest, most successful Titans and entrepreneurs out there.
Yeah, it also goes kind of, I agree with everything you're saying. I think the company you keep, who you surround yourself with, also is that amplifying. What's that expression? Your five closest friends. Tell me who. I don't need to know who you are, but if you tell me who your five closest friends are, I can figure it out. Right? I think that kind of also is like a good formula for it. But you're right on the money too. I love the idea of always learning. Always being that rolling stone that never collects moss. That type of mentality really is commanding. And listening, you're totally right. I think that's definitely an underutilized asset when it comes to and silence. I think silence is something that people don't use to their benefit. Most of the people that come to me with an idea or something, and they don't want to. I feel like they don't want to hear me sometimes. They just want to talk enough that they're going to convince me, and they're going to bull in the china shop their way to getting me on board. That I can't tell you enough how much that is like the biggest turnoff, right?
Community is one of the most important things that you can keep. And you were right. You are the adage of the 5 people that you surround yourself with most. That's one of the reasons why I sought to build the Titan 100, because I wasn't finding the community here in this market, Colorado, that I knew existed in other cities that I had experienced. And so the community that I keep is pretty badass. It's 500 Titans across the country that generate $149.7 billion in collective annual revenues and are responsible for employing upwards of 472,000 individuals. It's a pretty powerful community.
Yeah, no big deal. No big deal.
No big deal. Peter, one other thing I did want to mention, as part of the Titan 100 program, one of the things that's really powerful that we do is we publish a book in every single one of the cities that we launch in. Or every single one of the cities for every year. And this book is a collective of the stories of entrepreneurs and CEOs sharing their greatest leadership lessons learned, their entrepreneurial journeys to get to where they are in their organizations or their companies today. This book is what captures the essence of our Titans. And so those individuals that are seeking to learn and grow themselves can find inspiration from those books. That's another differentiator of the Titan program compared to others that exist. I know that every organization isn't going to produce a 100-page, perfect bound editorial book that's going to be a legacy coffee table piece that will serve the greater business community. We not only publish this book, but we also build 100 individual landing pages that live on indefinitely for our Titans. So when you Google search a Titan, these content pages will appear in search engine optimization and will live on to inspire the community at large. So that's another big way that we take this platform and externally promote it, promote the entrepreneurship, promote leadership, promote the success of these individuals, which are to be admired and studied and learned from. And so we're so excited to recognize our Philadelphia Titans and be able to publish them, publish you, Peter, and recognize you in September of this year.
That's great. All right. Well, I got to ask the question. Who's your favorite Titan? Or do you have like a top 10? Besides me, of course.
Of course you, yes. No Titan has ever asked me that. That's kind of like saying, which child is your favorite?
Yeah, which one is?
I love all of my Titans equally. No.
Okay, let me rephrase it. Is there a Titan or any Titans that when I ask that question immediately, someone or something or somebody somewhere pops in your head, or a couple people pop in your head? Are there any, like, who's the most unique Titan? Who's the most differentiated Titan? Somebody that when you started the program, you would never have expected this type of person, but now that you got that type of person, you're like, wow, that person, I'm so happy I did this, partially because that person actually, it's led me to this. Is there anyone like that that's like popped, or anyone that sticks out amongst all of them?
You know, it's really hard to say, because in Colorado, when I started that market, I just wanted to make sure that we had a good, diverse balance of large companies and small companies and, different industries. But I need to make sure that there's a good balance. You can't have a program that's like a bunch of little itty bitty baby companies, because that's not really representative of the spectrum of Titan. So we had a CEO who applied for the program, and he's really a turnaround CEO, goes into organizations and takes them from the brink of bankruptcy or, despair, and turns them around. I think I have such an awe for individuals that can do that, because being an entrepreneur is so difficult, right? Being a CEO, being a C-suite, you face uphill climb all the time. But to go into a business that is on the way down, and turn it around and grow it successfully and sell it and merge it, or that really wows me. It really wows me. Those Titans that can do that. And that specific Titan ended up being on my board. And he asks the most amazing questions. He listens. Patrick Dennis, the CEO of a new company now called Extra Hop. And he's been a great mentor for me through this program, but I am in awe of him and his giving nature, and his, with his last company, he did $1 billion acquisition. And so then sold it and is now the CEO of another company that I'm sure he will take it to the highest heights, because that's who he is. And I am just in awe of those people who can do that. And to do that, you have to know him as a leader, as a visionary, as a servant leader. He just thinks differently. And again, I'm in awe of him.
That's great. I'm glad I asked that question. That's a great answer. All right.
You are the first person that has ever asked me that.
Let me ask you this too. You meet with tons of CEOs. You have them on camera, asking them questions and doing your interviews. Is there any good or like best advice that they've given, or any types of feedback or tips or quotes or things that pop or stick out that you've heard from your time in front of these Titans?
I think that it changes, right? So this year alone, in 2022, I interviewed on camera about 40 to 50 Titans in all 5 cities. And every year it's going to be different themes that, peak out, right? Last year it was around navigating COVID and tips and tricks and things. This year, one thing that a CEO said that stuck with me and resonated with me was one of my greatest lessons learned is that I shouldn't be hiring for what I need right now. I should be hiring for what I need 6 months to a year from now. And that's a scary thought for some, because you don't know what your company, you want it to look like, but to make that decision to hire those people ahead of where you want to be is was a thought that really stuck with me this year. And so I wonder how many others lead with such confidence of where they're going that they're making decisions not 6 months out, but a year to 2 years out, because they believe that that's where they'll be at that point in time. And right now,
I think there's
so much talk about recession and hunkering down and going into fear mode. But there are still so many CEOs that don't even pay attention to that. They are focused on growing and what's next. And growth is the only sign of life.
Whew, that was good. Nice. Let me ask you one last question, then I will see if you have any questions or things that we missed on that we should talk about. Jaime, what scares you?
You know, there isn't a lot that does, because I believe that your attitude and mindset are the most important thing that you can control, right? You can't control 100% of what happens to you, but you can control 100% of how you respond and react to it. Besides, the loss of a loved one, that's probably the thing that scares me most in life, death, right? There isn't much else outside of that scares me, because I believe from the CEOs that I've worked with that there is no failure, there's only learn. And so I've made mistakes in my career and in my life, and I don't look at those as mistakes as much as learned experiences that put me on different course trajectories, which is what I was meant to do.
Anything you want to plug? Anything you want to share? Any books that you're reading right now that are like must reads for entrepreneurs or people out there, or anything along those lines?
Yeah, so there's anything written by John Maxwell. Love this man. He is the 5 levels of leadership, or 5 levels of leadership, is probably my favorite book of his. It talks about servant leadership. That one is a favorite one of mine. I love Good to Great by Jim Collins. I also love our Titan 100 books. I'm going to plug my own books because it's raw, it's local. And then I also believe that mindset is a big one. So Infinite Possibilities by Mike Dooley. It's a really powerful one that talks about your mindset. And there are so many that exist out there, but those are the sort of like the top 2 or 3 that I really believe in.
Look, I got nothing else to say. I'm really happy you came on here today, and I really appreciate your time. I'm so honored to have the title of Titan, on my resume now, and my I guess I got to add it to my LinkedIn, which is kind of fun. But it's it's been like something. You took something that was nothing, you made it something, and now you've had a huge impact on hundreds of influential people who then pass on that impact to other people. And it's incredibly commendable. That's the reason I wanted to talk to you today, because you popped and you stuck out, and you're making a real big difference. And I really wish you the best of luck with your rollout to 5 additional cities. I think that's incredibly aggressive. At the same time, I have the fullest of faith that if anyone can pull it off, it's absolutely you and your team. You guys have done a really remarkable job in getting this far. And I know this is only the beginning of your story. And again, I really want to thank you for coming on here today and appreciate your time and your commitment to what you do. It's really rewarding and exciting to be on the sidelines here, now a participant a little bit, seeing your little fun company become this badass Titan thing. And I'm telling you right now, I'm going to get myself a helmet.
Well, thank you, Peter. Congratulations to you. I'm not surprised, of course, that you are a Titan of industry because you look to surround yourself with other Titans. And the sense that you asked me to be a part of this podcast, you're interested in learning, you're interested in expanding and giving to your community. You are someone who believes in the power of community. These are all Titan-esque qualities, which is one of the reasons why I have no doubt that you are a Titan. And so I am so excited to recognize you and your 99 other fellow Titans in Philadelphia this coming September at the awards program, and the start of what will be an amazing journey for you and your other Titans over the course of the 2022-2023 program year. And yes, I expect to see you get that helmet in 3 years.
Yeah, that's right. No, not worried. I got this. Yeah. Let me just do my thing. Have a great rest of your day. And again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Peter.